Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nurul Ain binti Abdul Kepli and my group member Muhammad Nufail Akram bin Muhammad Nasir and Afiqah Muhammad Zuhaimi. Today, we will present our final year project about homestay tourism attractiveness in Terengganu, Unravelling young tourists' reluctance, acceptance and behaviour toward homestay tourism accommodation. The introduction is the homestay program in Malaysia has become a rural community development tool, which is one of the national development agenda. Homestay have special features and difference such as in terms of experience, cultural and activities. Young tourists between the age of 18 to 35 are less interested in homestay due to the lack of facilities. Homestay are not categorized as accommodation facilities, but instead focus on lifestyle and experience, including cultural and economic. Problem statement. People are reluctant to open their homes to tourists and also hesitant to stay in a homestay. Both the host and guest need to be educated on the model of homestay according Manerji J 2017. Also, domestic tourists prefer to stay in low-cost hotel and hostel rather than homestay. Before homestay operators are eligible to participate in the homestay program, they have to undergo a number of standards set by of Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture. Significance of the study: shaping industry trend. Preference and habit of young visitor can help define industry trend and guide the creation of new product and service. Second, facilitating industry growth. Understanding why young travelers are less inclined to prefer homestay. Third, advancing academic knowledge. Adds to the corpus of academic knowledge in the field of tourism.
Literature review. First is study area. A homestay is one of the accommodation facilities used by tourists for relaxation or recreation. Homestays are now an option because often these homestays will reveal the traditions of the place that attract tourists, especially young tourists. Not forgetting that a homestay in Terengganu is one of the preferred and attractive homestays because Terengganu is one of the main tourist spots in Malaysia. In 2023, the state of Terengganu wants to launch COE 2023 to boost the tourism sector. Young tourist traveler. Tourism-related activities carried out by young people between the age of 15 and 29 are considered to fall under the umbrella term of youth tourism. This study aims to analyze the importance of the youth tourism industry for different tourist sites as well as the motivating elements that drive young traveler. In Malaysia, students in high school, students in higher education institution, and young traveler who are employed may be split into three major market sectors. For motivation factors, the theoretical framework in tourist research is the push and pull theory of motive put out. There are many factors that involve push and pull factor, among which the author claim that push factor occur when travelers' body needs, such as the need to rest, escape or connect with people, serve as their main motivators, while pull factor occur when these desires are secondary. There are several factors that contribute to this trend, namely lack of amenities, preference for privacy, fear of cultural difference, budget and preference for parties. Next is reluctance. First is domestic and foreign visitors' reluctance to remain beyond the KNP may be explained by worries about crime and personal safety. The second is reasonable. Rationale would be the hassle of staying outside KNP if seeing animals and taking part in related activities inside KNP are the major reasons for traveling to the region. For acceptance, technology acceptance model TAM was acknowledged as the most prominent. Another study mentions that TAM is a well-known methodology for analyzing users' technological uptake. TAM may be used to forecast behavior and to explain why people accept or reject technology. Useful for prediction and explanation, This theory we use to evaluate the acceptance of young tourists toward homestay. Behaviour. The judgment of the visitor regarding the likelihood of returning to the same site or the visitor's desire to suggest the destination to others is known as behavioral intention, future behavior, or post-visit behavior. Loyalty is one of the most crucial markers of the effectiveness of marketing tactics. Development of research hypothesis. This is the theoretical framework we examine the relationship between the independent variable, which is the motivation factor, and the dependent variable, which is behavior. Figure 1 shows the conceptual framework that we use in the research.
Next, the processes and methodology used to gather the data for the investigation are described in this section. In statistical research, researchers gather measurable data to test hypotheses and to be applied to a population sample statistical analysis. Therefore, it is possible to ascertain and investigate the relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable using quantitative research. This section covers 4 elements: the target population, the sampling frame, the sample size, and the sampling technique. First item is target population. In the research, the population is the total number of respondents who are likely to influence the result. We are targeting young tourists at outside and inside Terengganu, and a total 200 respondents that answer the questionnaire. Then the sampling frame that we apply for this research was the list of selected the homestay in Terengganu. And the probability, the sampling technique was used to arrive at the result. Lastly, for the sample size, a minimum 90 tourists, but we decided to use 200 tourists from the 10 homestay in Terengganu to get the best possible result from the research. Next, the questionnaire is divided into several sections: screening question, reluctance factor, acceptance, behavior, and demographic profile. The questionnaire is dual language, which were English and Malay. Collection primary data through the Google form are items in section B, C, and D were rated a 5-point Likert scale ranking from 1 strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree.
Frequency analysis of respondent demographic and work people. Table showed that out of 200 respondents, they are 71% equivalent to 162 female respondents and 38% male, which is equivalent to 19 respondents. The total result for both gender are equivalent to 200 respondents with 100% overall. The highest number of respondents who contribute to the questionnaire was from age range 23 to 27 years with 47%, total 94, followed by age range 18 to 22 years with 42.5%, total 85, and then 32 to 35 years with 6%, total 12. While the least contributor to young tourists is 28 to 31 old with 4.5%, total 9. According to the data gathered, the higher level of monthly income recorded came from 1,500 to 2,000 with 158 respondents, which is 79%, and followed by income 3,000 and above with 17 respondents, which is 8.5%. Next, follow 2,000 to 2,500 income with 14 respondents, which is 7%, and the least percentage income is from 2,500 until 3,000 with 11 respondents, which is 5.5%. According to the data collected, undergraduate certificate diploma degree is the highest with 62.5%, total 125, followed by graduate degree master PhD with 24.5%, total 49, and then followed by SPM student with 13%, the total is 26. Based on the data collected, most respondents are from outside Terengganu with 72.5%. The total is 145, while respondents from inside Terengganu have 27.5%. The total is 55. Reliability analysis. The reliability test for the 7 variables. First, lack of amenities get a reliability of 0.657. Next, preference for privacy get a reliability about 0.682, while reliability test for part fear of cultural differences recorded is 0.680. Then the budget of the tourist get 0.588 for the reliability test. Another than that, 0.476 is reliability value recorded in preference for party atmosphere's value. Then acceptance get 0.791 reliability value, and lastly behavior get reliability value is 0.907 in reliability test that was done by researcher. Mean score and standard deviation of lack of amenities. The highest mean score from statement of I often prioritize convenience and may be less willing to forego amenities such as air conditioning, Wi-Fi and private bathroom, which are not always available at homestay, with mean 3.67, standard deviation 1.229, prove that respondents ascertain often prioritize convenience and may be less to forego amenities. Then, followed by statement, I prefer the comforts and amenities of a hotel over a homestay, which with means 3.44, standard deviation 1.110. This show responded not satisfied with the comfort and amenities of a hotel over a homestay. Next, I choose not to stay in a homestay because of its lack of facilities and amenities, with mean 2.90, standard deviation 1.288. Lastly, the statement, I am not aware of homestay accommodation and the unique experience they offer, with mean 2.62, standard deviation 1.221, is believed not to be aware of homestay accommodation and the unique experience they offer. From the table, researcher can conclude that lack of amenities is not a factor that influences young tourists reluctant to opt for homestay tourism as their preferred choice of accommodation. This is because the total average mean for this variable is 3.16, which was a medium score. Mean and standard deviation of preference of privacy. The highest score from the statement is I value my privacy and personal space, which can be difficult to find in a homestay setting, with mean 3.65, standard deviation 1.172, which the respondent trusts that value my privacy and personal space, which can be difficult to find in a homestay setting. Then, followed by statement, I feel uncomfortable staying in a stranger home and may prefer the privacy of a hotel or other type of accommodation, and show the mean 3.50, standard deviation 1.260, and show the respondent feel uncomfortable staying in a stranger home and may prefer the privacy of a hotel or other type of accommodation. Total average mean score for this variable is 3.58 and can be concluded as not a factor that influences young tourists reluctant to opt for homestay tourism as their preferred choice of accommodation was medium score. Average respondents do not agree with this factor. Mean score and standard deviation of fears of cultural differences. From all these statements, the highest mean score has recorded was from I am concerned about my safety and security when staying in a homestay, particularly for solo travelers, with mean 4.31, standard deviation 0.953, which indicate respondent agree with the concern about my safety and security when staying in a homestay, particularly for solo travelers. Then followed by the statement, I am hesitant to stay in a cultural norm and expectation of the homestay host with mean 3.31, standard deviation 1.146. This proved that respondent partly agree with the hesitant to stay in a different cultural norm and expectation of the homestay host. Lastly, the statement of I am hesitant to stay in unfamiliar cultural stating that require a culturally immersive experience with mean 3.15, standard deviation 1.161, show that responded not to agree that they are hesitant to stay in unfamiliar cultural setting that require a culturally immersive experience. The average mean for this factor is 3.59, which was a medium score. Researchers can conclude that respondents do not agree that this factor can influence young tourists reluctant to opt for homestay.
The mean score of the budget of tourists were rated between 3.05 and 3.79. The statement, homestay can be more expensive than budget accommodation like homestay or dormitory style room, recorded the highest mean, which scored a mean value of mean M 3.79, standard deviation 0.995. It showed the respondent agreed homestay can be more expensive than budget accommodation like homestay or dormitory style room. Then followed with statement, I prefer to stay at a budget homestay or Airbnb than at a homestay due to a tight budget. With M 3.05, standard deviation 1.219, the total average mean from this variable is 3.42, which is medium score or this factor is not certified by respondent. Next, mean score and standard deviation of preference for party. It can be clearly seen in the statement and concern about the quality and standard of a homestay can vary greatly. The highest mean value which M 4.21, standard deviation 0.947, indicating that the respondent concern about the quality and standard of homestay can vary greatly. In the followed by I prefer a more freedom and festive environment type of accommodation rather than a controlled, quiet, laid-back homestay environment. VM 3.51, standard deviation 1.269, and this proved by respondent prefer a more freedom and festive environment type of accommodation rather than a controlled, quiet, laid-back homestay environment. From this factor, researchers can conclude that all respondents agree that this factor can influence young tourist reluctance to opt for homestay because the total average means is high score which is 3.81.
Next, for the statistics analysis of acceptance. As reported for the table, the statement are concerned about privacy, safety, and security while staying in homestay recorded the highest mean with a value M.4.3, standard deviation 0.881. The most respondents agree with concern about privacy, safety, and security when staying in a homestay. The second highest statement, staying in homestay is within my budget, with M 3.92, standard deviation 1.016. It declared the respondents staying in homestay is within the budgets. Next, the statement, I believe homestay offer a unique and aesthetic travel experience, with M 3.88, standard deviation 0.916, and the respondent believe the homestay offer a unique and aesthetic travel experience. Then followed by the statement and inserted in the cultural immersion when travelling and would consider a homestay for the reason. With N 3.85, standard deviation 0.926, it defined the respondent inserted in the cultural immersion when travelling and would consider a homestay for that reason. Then I will find online booking and payment process for the homestay to be user-friendly with N 3885, standard deviation 0.937, which the respondent proved that online booking payment processes for homestay are more user-friendly. Next statement, I will consider staying at homestay on my next trip with N 380, standard deviation 0.958, and I prefer the comfort amenity of a hotel over homestay with N 3.77, standard deviation 1.056. Show that respondent will consider staying at a homestay on next trip and more prefer the comfort amenities of the hotel over homestay. Finally, I feel comfortable staying with homestay hosts with M 3.73 Study Deviation 1351 indicating the respondent do not agree with the statement. The total average mean score for acceptance is 3.77, which can conclude that the acceptance factor facing young Tory was high. Next, discuss the analysis for behavior. It can clearly be seen in the statement, I will recommend a homestay to my friends and family with M3.94, standard deviation 0869, indicating that respondent will recommend a homestay to my friends and family. The second best was recorded by a statement of I will be interested in booking homestay through travel website or apps with M3.81, standard deviation 0983. And which show respondent interested in booking homestay through travel website or apps. It is then followed by the statement, I will be more likely to have a memorable experience staying in a homestay with M379, standard deviation 0976, and the statement proves they are more likely to have a memorable experience staying in homestay. Then the statement is, I will be interested in learning about local culture and customs through a homestay experience with M3.06, standard deviation 0952, and it shows respondent interested in learning about local culture and customs through a homestay experience. Then I will definitely stay in a homestay on my next streets with M3.05, standard deviation 1.021, which respondent agreed to stay in a homestay on my next street, followed by I will choose a homestay over hotel or homestay if they are similar in price with M3.54, standard deviation 1.133, and statement I will feel more comfortable and secure staying in a homestay compared to other type of accommodation with M3.48, standard deviation 1.051. Lastly, I will be willing to pay more for a homestay compared to other type of accommodation with M3.29, standard deviation 1.119, and it shows that respondents are not willing to pay more for a homestay compared to other types of accommodation. The total average mean score for the variable is 3.76, which indicated that this variable was a middle score, or respondent not satisfied with the variable. The table shows the summary of two models. We are model 1 and model 2. The model shows that lack of anonymity, preference, privacy, fear of cultural difference, budget and preference for party atmosphere, acceptance and behavior used instead was multiple regression analysis to analyze their behavior. The prediction model contains two models, which is both have 1 and 2 of 6 parameters reached in one step, with 5 variables removed in the model 1 and 4 variables removed in model 2. According to table R square in model 1 is 0.572 or 57%, and the p-value below 0.05, which is the model 1 variable. Acceptance has accounted for statistically significant amount variance in the outcome. Meanwhile, the model 2 also show acceptance and preference of privacy significant, which R square 0.584 or 58%, and the p-value for the two predicted in the model 2 are p below 0.05 are significant. Next, table confusions show that there are two models, which are model 1 and model 2. The most significant predictor in behavior is acceptance, which is B 0.924, beta 0.756, p-values below 0.05. Researchers can conclude that the predictor in model 1 is significantly related to the outcome variable, but in the model 2 that have two variables that are significant to the dependence, which are acceptance and preference privacy. The predictor acceptance and privacy are significant value in the model 2 because both of them have significant value, which are B 0.974, beta 0.797, p-value below 0.05. On predictor acceptance and B 0.83, beta 0.112, p-value below 0.05 on preference privacy.
Discussion. The first objective is to uncover the factors influencing young tourists' reluctance to OPT for homestay tourism as their preferred accommodation. Therefore, the first set of questions focus on whether our respondents' reluctance to OPT for homestay tourism attributed them to not choosing a homestay. The second objective is to measure the relationship between the factors influencing young tourists' reluctance, acceptance, and their behavior towards homestay tourism accommodation. Stepwise multiple regression that was done in the previous chapter. Research can conclude that not all variables have significance to dependent variables, which are acceptance and preference for privacy, that are significant to the dependent behavior, which are acceptance and preference for privacy. The predictors' acceptance and preference for privacy are significant values in Model 2, because both of them had significant values which are B 0.974, beta 0.797, P below 0.05 on predictor acceptance, and B negative 0.83, beta negative 0.112, P below 0.05 on study implication. The implication of the obstacle is that they have to bear the risk when there are not many visitors who will stay at the homestay. The researcher will also experience problems if no one stays at the homestay because they have to get respondents online. Future study. The selection of topics that are easy to study and learn because of the simple title will make the study easy. Next, face-to-face interviews are better than using online techniques because talking on the phone sometimes has problem in understanding. Therefore, using a quantitative approach for this kind of research has several advantages because it allows the researcher to accurately assess reluctance and motivation from the tourist's point of view.